where I made the film in Sikkim, there were technical constraints as well. Just to get a professional camera there was a nightmare for me. When voices like this lend a voice to us, it really amplifies it.
What is unfortunate is things are changing, but till now it's you get compared to big releases.
So you need to negotiate the world in what you think is a masculine way to be taken seriously.
It's the first steps that is happening in our generation in some ways, where we're trying to go outside of these regional boundaries of what exists.
So nice that I'm watching my second Nepali film in a week and a half, The Elephants in the Fog, that just won.
I'm looking forward to meet him in Kathmandu Film Festival tomorrow.
बाहिरको मर्द मान्छेलाई घरमा कसरी राख्नु अन्त अरूकोमा पनि राख्छ उनीहरुकोमा त आफ्नै घरको मर्द मान्छे हुन्छ नि
Hi, the Shape of Momo team. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
The director Tribeny is on mute. So Tribeny, you want to say hi on unmute?
Yes, hello.
Hi, congratulations on all the wonderful things that are happening. Rana, we have to stop meeting like this. Like, we have to stop. This is the third time I'm seeing you in like a year and a half, and it's been all for indie films. Actually, I'm just kidding. It's great. First, we spoke for Payal's film, then we spoke for Rohan's film. Now we're speaking for Tribeny's film. It's all indie festival award-winning films. It's
See,
great.
there you go. That's the job. So I'm doing my job reasonably well then.
It's great. Beauty with brains, Rana Daggubati. Tribeni, listen, tell me, how have you managed to put together this Avengers team? One Avenger is missing. Payal Kapadia is busy. I assume she's still at Cannes or has just returned from Cannes. I was on a flight. How has this happened?
I think it's because of the film, the love for their love for the film. We always had Payal was initially, of course, even with our rough cuts, she had helped with some festivals. She had helped, and then of course Rana Spirit Media came on board, and then we had access to Zoya and Reema, who also loved the film and then agreed to come on board, which is great for the film. I think, I mean, we have been traveling to the festivals, but when voices like this come on board, I think it really amplifies the journey of the film, gives more visibility and also credibility. So I'm really, really excited.
Now, to set a little bit of context here, I've seen the film. It's called The Shape of Momo. It's beautiful. It is in the Nepali language. You are a filmmaker from Sikkim, but your family, your ancestry, you're ethnically Nepali. That's the history. And you've written this sort of semi-autobiographical story about this girl. Zoya, when did you get to watch the film, and why did you decide to come on board as somebody who's supporting this?
I got the film sent to me when it was completely done, and it had done a few festival rounds, and it was sent to me, and I watched it, and basically was sent to me by Neha Kaul to ask me if I would be interested in doing anything with it, and I just fell in love with it when I saw it. It was very immersive for me as an experience. It kind of transported me to a place part of this country that I hadn't been to, and it wasn't like a tourist. It was a very lived-in experience, and there were the film. It starts off as something, and then it's slightly bigger than you think it's going to be, and in a very, very quiet way, gives you a big impact. So I decided that whatever I could do for it, I'd like to.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're very glad that this is happening. And I was talking to Anurag Kashyap also at Cannes recently. I was like, the only way for us forward as Indian cinema people or interested in the upliftment of Indian cinema is for big names like Zoya, Rana, Reema to come and support indie cinema, to show up over and over again and highlight independent filmmakers. There's no other way. I don't see any other way forward. Right? Reema, can we talk about film festival culture and the importance of film festival culture, small or big, taking our films there, starting conversations, getting journalists on board and filmmakers and producers like yourselves together?
I mean, I think it's very important, and they're a great platform for you to get started on, and it also kind of goes to show where, say, whether it's Tribeny's film or it was, Boong or Sabarbona, these are films that are made on very, very small budgets that eventually have very, very high impact. So I think it's a great route for young filmmakers, independent filmmakers, even not indie filmmakers like myself, if you're
Yeah.
trying to do something a bit alternative, with Superboys, we did take the festival route, is just to bring a bit of awareness and noise around the film. And at least start with, film festivals, kind of, you feel like there are cinephiles there. So you at least start with the core audience, people
Yeah.
who love movies, who love films, you know. And I think it can be very, very helpful.
Now, on that same note, Rana, do you now have a subset of your team just monitoring film festivals all year round? Because clearly it's working out for Spirit.
Hi. So, well, it's just not monitoring festivals. I think it's monitoring filmmakers who are leaving film institutes, going out there, making their own films. We're seeing films from like script ideas to some part production done, sometimes fully made films. So I think it's all coming in different combinations. And like you said it earlier on your call, it's a whole ecosystem that we're trying to build in some form. And whether it's independent filmmakers who are making these films, or whether it's the likes of all of us that are sitting on this call and trying to create that ecosystem, I think we're those first. It's the first steps that is happening in our generation in some ways, where we're trying to go outside of these regional boundaries of what exists right now in terms of what local industries do. This alternative cinema somewhere is like a overall larger cover where it talks to audiences differently. It can be locally rooted anywhere, and there's an audience across India and the globe that watches it. So yeah, it's for us. It's been a learning experience from the last bunch of films that we've done. And what we're excited about is there's a certain consistency that's going on in the market, whether it's at festivals, in the press, in the general discussion, cinephile set parts of a city where I think everyone has a film club that is getting interesting. And Bangalore has a film club, Chennai has a film club, a bunch of them that are focused on cinema that's a bit different from what's being offered. And constantly filmmakers with some really brilliant films, like the films you mentioned before, Shape of Momo, whether it's Payal's film, whether it's Sabarbonda, whether it's Neelira, all of them have been exceptionally different films by craftsmen that were very, very up there in terms of you can put them with the mainstream filmmakers.
Yeah.
Like the first time we saw Shape of Momo, I mean, okay, I talk a little away from a certain indie lens, and I'd like to see this becoming a more mainstream habit. Now, it's a representation of India and Indians' cultural society, Indian homes where women run homes, and they've never, like, I live in a family. Still live with my grandmom, my mom, my sisters, all of them. We live in the same house. But that I never saw being represented, whether it's in a mainstream movie or anything in that format, till I saw Shape of Momo. And I think the essence connects to everybody. We get to see it with an Indian lens in a land that we've never been to, or has never been explored really in popular culture. So yeah, I think all of these things and have come together for us, and we're just happy that we're able to bring on board more filmmakers, more voices to kind of support cinema like this. So yes,
I love to hear
I'm
these
in a
wonderful things. This is just making my heart swell with joy.
I'm in a happier place than the last two films that you met me for. So yes.
Listen, this is all wonderful. This is all happy things happening. And I must mention, I was at Cannes and I was moderating a side panel outside of the festival. And The Shape of Momo came up in conversation because one of the women on the panel was a woman who runs the Variety magazine. And the Shape of Momo just came up. So this is already in conversations, India and internationally. And it's so nice that I'm watching my second Nepali film in a week and a half, The Elephants in the Fog, that just won us. I mean, what an achievement. Avinash Bikram Shah takes his first feature film that he's ever made, gets it to Cannes and wins the jury prize. Has anybody had a chance to talk to Abhinash here? Tribeni, do you know him? Nepali filmmakers, both of you? Nepali language?
I know of him, and I'm looking forward to meet him in Kathmandu Film Festival tomorrow.
Oh,
So
yeah.
hopefully I get to meet him.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
It is such a great film. I cried buckets. It is a phenomenal film. Abhi to I don't know like who to make eye contact with right now. What a panel this is. And if Payal was here, would have been man Sone Pe Suhaga also. But Tribeni, so when these wonderful producers and supporters have come on board, Spirit and Tiger Baby and Payal herself, how has that the confidence that that has given you to keep taking your film and keep getting your word out there even more, even more, even more. The wind beneath your wings, so to speak.
I think as soon as they came on board, the way people were perceiving the film as just a festival film has completely changed, I think, because the fact that, they have made so many films and they already have a lot of fan base and audience who watch the film, so for them to come on board and say, see, this film is different and we would love for you to watch this film, I think it already creates I've been receiving messages from all of my friends, especially indie filmmakers, saying, you're living our dream right now. So it feels really special. But I just hope, it continues and opens doors for other fellow filmmakers like who are making films with me because independent scene is really difficult where you have a lot of budget constraints. And where I made the film in Sikkim, there were technical constraints as well, just to get a professional camera there was a nightmare for me, so doing what we are doing with the kind of struggles we are having when voices like this lend a voice to us, it really amplifies it. I think people are now more excited, even more so in Sikkim because they love all these filmmakers. They are like, okay, if Zoya has come on board, if Reema has come on board, and they love Rana too, and so they were like, Payal is there, so they I think that everybody is now looking forward to watch the film with more excitement and zeal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how lovely.
Yes.
So, tell me about this anecdote about getting a camera to where you were shooting in Sikkim and why it was difficult to make that happen.
Because Sikkim's film industry is at a very nascent stage. Very few films get made there. So one every year, or maybe one every 2 years. So because Sikkim is a small population, everybody has a government job. People are now becoming more aware of the art scene. So when I decided to become a filmmaker, I was like this rebel who's not doing a government job. Uh, you know, so the nearest city to Sikkim, also because of its geographical location, I think is either Kathmandu, Kolkata, Guwahati, or Delhi. So if you want a professional camera, like we shot in Ari, so just to get it there was a nightmare for me. To even to
Wow.
get the technical support. Now what we are doing is with the films that we are making, we are also taking interns, local children who are interested in films, aspiring filmmakers as interns, so that we are able to then create an ecosystem for ourselves where we really don't have to then get people from outside.
That's wonderful. Reema, after Boong, the film premieres at Toronto. I speak with LP, who you all have known for very, very long. She's been a collaborator and a colleague of yours for a long time, but she makes her first film, takes it to the festival, then goes ahead and wins a BAFTA. I mean, I can't even imagine. But to Tribeni's point, has that sparked an interest in the cinephile audience in Manipur to look at cinema more or come back to the theaters? Have you seen any changes there?
I mean, yes, I think it's not just Manipur, because say the number of theaters, I mean, I think she did release in Manipur, and a film hadn't released in Manipur in a while because of the conflict. So, I mean, the theaters were packed, the shows that she had there. It's also, I think, for people and people who don't really see any representation in popular culture, for them to see themselves up there, I think was quite tremendous. And yeah, I mean, I think that Boong or Shape of Momo, again, speaking about the kind of budgets they're made on, and there's the value that it's high impact, and what these films do for you when you watch them. It's I do hope that people and the press starts kind of creating some kind of palette for that, some kind of understanding, because what is unfortunate is things are changing, but till now it's you get compared to big releases without people kind of really understanding that here is a film that's made on probably the budget that one scene might have been shot in a big release. It's been put out there. It's been put out as a limited release, and it's fighting all show timings. It's a real uphill battle. So I think that if there are any cinephiles out there in the audience, this is the time for them to step up.
Yeah. buy a movie ticket. The Shape of Momo is releasing this week. Go to a movie theater and watch the film. Zoya, this film asks a lot of questions around so many different things. And, I will write on it in detail. There's so many themes, right? The theme of home. Tribeni, I'm sorry to be having this conversation on your face, but to the theme of home, belonging, freedom. There's a cat named Azadi, mobility, layers and layers of questions. Is that something that speaks to you in cinema? Is that something that spoke to you in this particular film? And do you think as a filmmaker, it's important to make a film that asks questions?
Definitely, or just contextualizes us in another way. Gives us a perspective in another way. Like I can identify with, I mean, it's a completely different life from mine. It's a completely different area, landscape, society, in a sense, from mine. But at the same time, I can identify with a girl that was not very conformist. I identify with that, and being in that kind of society and being different. And then I also identify with the class layer that comes in, because she has a very different equation with the tenants. And that is when the film just intersects in a very interesting manner for me. And you feel a particular way, and you're like, yeah, I'm like that. And yeah, like this is the same as something in my life. And then it's like, oh, I'm like that too, you know and maybe I need to look at that. And so that was very interesting. I mean, I'm not I'm speaking in, maybe the audience thinks I'm talking nonsense, but when once they see the film, they'll know what I'm saying, because I'm saying this and that. I don't want to reveal stuff
Yeah. No, but
in that way.
you're exactly right, because again, we can't really talk about the film in detail much yet, because I would love for people to watch the film and then we can come back and talk about it again. But there's so many points where your character, Tribeni, or the lead actor Bishnu, you're like, do I like her? Do I not like her? Is she saying the right thing? Of course, she's a woman, but she also has money. She also has mobility. She can run outdoors, and other women cannot run outdoors. And is that woman? It is delicious. I love a film that gives me another layer and then another layer underneath it, another layer underneath it, without hitting me over the head with all these layers, without hitting me over the head with messaging. Sorry, Zoya, you're saying something else and I just interrupted.
Yeah, also, like, I mean, she's in this home of just women, and sometimes you feel you need to have these walls, and sometimes you need to be a little aggressive, and sometimes you need to you're the boy of the house. So you need to negotiate the world in what you think is a masculine way to be taken seriously. So it's very layered in a very quiet way, and none of it is said. It was really beautifully done.
And your actors are fantastic too, Tribeni. Can you talk to us briefly about getting this cast together? Are they professional actors? You're on mute, by the way, heads up.
So like I said, we don't have industry, but we do have a lot of actors who work in either in Nepal or in Bombay. So my main protagonist and the mother, they are from Nepal. The sister and other ensemble, they are from where we speak Nepali. So it was very important for me to get people from my own community on board, because, as a director, it is a added benefit, I think, because we are women from the same community and we have experienced similar kind of things. So when I get them on board, they come with their own bag of experiences, and that only adds up. And especially with Bishnu, I think growing up, I did not see my representation on screen. I would obviously emotionally connect to Bollywood films or Hollywood films, but I never saw someone like me on screen. So it became very important for me to cast someone who looked like me. My brief for going to the audition was like, please find a woman who looks like me but is an actor. So much so that we went to Hong Kong film market where people were like, Tribeni, you have done such a good job. You have directed and acted so well. I was like, okay, that's great. So I think growing up, I think younger generation from my region will then not face this problem of representation, lack of representation, which I did. I think that sort of becomes your responsibility when you are one of the first few filmmakers from your region. Yeah.
And very nicely done. She looks very much like you. It's like immortalized forever. It's very nicely done. So I wait till you watch Elephants in the Fog. Wait till the cast Abhinash is put together. And when you meet him tomorrow, please tell him I send all my love. Rana, lastly, for other filmmakers who are telling these honest, true stories that are asking questions and saying have something to say and want to take the story into direction. How can they connect with spirit, and what is it that spirit can bring to the table for the journeys of these films?
Well, that connect, I think, has been quite established now, whether it's through emails, through the website. There's enough team that's watching films consistently. Now, what can we do? One, like there's a broader word of, okay, we can find a distribution, we can find a voice, we can find an audience. But what we're really trying to do is work with the filmmaker, work with the story, and find where each story is different from the other, right? And I think like there'll be a star audience somewhere which will hold the film as their own, and which is what I believe this time. There's a premiere in Gangtok, then there will be a release. Cal has a interesting market altogether for a cinema like this. Bangalore has a interesting Nepali audience that what consumes cinema. So we're going across 15-20 cities and making sure the first leg goes out right for this film, and then I think after that we'll start waiting for the audience to talk back to us and say, okay, this is where we need it more. These are the types of shows. I think it's an ongoing journey for I think, and it'll be different for every single filmmaker because they made it with a certain local heart that needs to own it. Like there needs to be an audience that owns it, and then there's an audience across India that'll watch it in that similar way.
Well, I'm very glad that stalwarts like yourselves, Zoya and Reema, are supporting a film that is so honest, so real, and just needs all the love and all the support that's possible. Tribeni, many, many, many congratulations on bringing your film to this point, on all the awards that you've already won, and the wonderful things that are lined up ahead of you. Momo, mero favorite khana tha. I love Momo. I love Nepal.
Wow.
I know. A little bit of Nepali in my lexicon. Thank you, wonderful people. And
Thank
more
you.
power
you.
to each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.